Hello everyone. Today I'm bringing you a unique customer problem that our employees they had tried to solve, wherein the customer wanted to have retention, that is database retention, greater than the default retention period of 25 days. So we'll talk to you how he exactly went about solving it, the native solution he used instead of coming up with a custom solution, and how you can use a similar design pattern with your customers who have similar requirements. Please let us know about any of your customers or local businesses who have a requirement of going digital at a good quality and especially in the cloud. So we can definitely help them out, and you can reach us out by filling the contact information. This is the agenda that I'll walk through in today's presentation. I'll provide a brief overview about what exactly is RDS, the backup as well, what is the default retention period, and what is the design pattern to use for taking backups longer than default retention period, and a few limitations that I'll just walk over on how exactly to overcome those. First of all, why we need to take backups? We need to take backups specifically for data protection, where we could safeguard in case there is some fat finger for any accidental deletion or hardware failures or corruption, or any disaster has happened. Say a particular region has gone down, you do want to bring it up for any issues. So that is where we want to ensure backups are working. The database is working. What are the types of backups in RDS? We have essentially two types of backups. One is automated and the other is manual. Automated is something taken care by RDS itself. RDS is Relational Database Service. So nothing that you need to do. It is out of the box configured. But apart from RDS, if you want, you can always do manual and you can kind of store it there. But this video is not talking about manual. It is talking about another service on how we could go about using it. How do the snapshots work, right? There is essentially you will have to automate it to take the snapshots every time, but it'll need to be storing the snapshots as well. So in RDS, the snapshots are stored in RDS. You could go and see in the GUI. Probably in the backend, it's storing in S3. But these snapshots are something that they're automated, and I'll show you over here what I mean by it. So this is where if I see, I have this RDS screen, which is Relational Database Service. And in here, you could see I have the snapshots that are taken by the system. And this is where I can also take the manual snapshot out here. So I have both the system as well as the manual one I can do. So that is what I mean by the snapshots. And this is where I say that it is taken care by here as part of the RDS setup. So what are the best practices? We need to first have regular snapshots. We need to schedule the snapshots if required. Just ensure the manual snapshots are in place based on your customer requirements. Ensure the default retention policies are there. And the default retention policies, as I said, its maximum is 35 days. And that is what this video is, that if some customers have, because a lot of customers have some 6 months, you want to retain the data snapshot. So this is how you could do it by watching this video. And cross-region backups is there. Say you have a backup in Virginia, you want to move it to Milan region in Europe. You could do that by using a cross-region replication. What are the security considerations? Essentially encryption. Ensure your snapshots are encrypted using your customized keys. You could click on the video for customized keys in a channel as well as read a blog to understand what is the concept behind it. Also ensure you have the right access control and policies to create, delete and restore the snapshots. So that will protect against unauthorized access. So I hope this provides a good overview of RDS. And for people who know it, you can skip what exactly is RDS backup. You can straight away just go to the next part. But now this is what is the default retention period? This is as I mentioned, this is taken from this AWS documentation. After we create a DB instance or cluster, the default retention period maximum is around 35 days. And let me show you that how is it 35 days. So if I come here and if I go to the database part, and if I say I want to modify this database, and this is where you see I have the backup retention period. And you will see as well over here, it's only 35 days. You cannot do more than 35 days retention period. You won't see a number greater than that. And that is the problem we are trying to solve as part of this video. So what is the solution for this? How do we ensure the design is simple? At the same time, we don't want to add additional services. The first thing is that we can have a backup that is greater than 25 days. And organization, this is using a AWS Backup Service. Let me go ahead and show you and configure the AWS Backup Service. Now, this is where I'm here at the AWS console. I can go to AWS Backup. Let me open in a new tab. Now, this is the service that we can go about creating the backup for the RDS specifically. But also, if you have seen our previous videos for AWS organizations, ideally, let me open it here. So ideally, you would want to have your backups as part of the organizations itself. And this is where you come here in policies. This is where, as part of the organization policies, centrally manage the backups for all your accounts. You should do it via the service control policies. And if I click here, I can create a policy out here. I can say EC2 backup, EC2 EBS, which is a volume backup. I can just mention the plan name. Let me choose the same plan name. And this is where I can choose the region where I want the backup. We have resources in Virginia, so let me do that. And let me again just give it the rule instead of backup. And this is where you want to create the default vault. Now, the default vault that I have created is, so I have a default vault of another account that we have. Let me just create a generic vault here, which is specific for Arina Technologies. And this is where we should choose our own KMS key, but for the sake of this, I'll just choose the default one. Just give a tag here, and I'll just mention customer, and this is global. Now, this is where I would see the vault being created. This is my vault here, Arina Technologies. So we'll come back and give the vault name. And this is where you could select enable continuous backups for supported resources. What are the supported resources? You could see they're available for Aurora, RDS, S3. This is where it will do the same thing as the automated snapshot is doing. It will only retain the snapshots for 35 days. It may be a limitation, something AWS could add in the near future. But that is where this thing didn't work for us, and that is how we had to go and do it. In the next step, I'll show you. But you could do this option where it's enabled. You provide the backup frequency, and if you want, you could copy it to another region. That's out-of-the-box feature, something you don't need to do. Right? You don't need to write a Lambda or any of those. You could do it from here. And this is where just give it a name. I'll just give it the same name, that is EC2 EBS, and choose the IAM role. Now, this IAM role, it needs to have the required permissions for taking the backup as well. Let me create the role. Let me go to IAM and create a role. And this is where you could choose a role. You could choose here backup. This is the service. Just come here. It's kind of straightforward. Choose the role here. Just type backup. And you would want to ensure you choose this service role policy for backup. This is the policy you want to attach. And give the role. I'll just give Arina Backup. And now I have the role created. So this is where you could provide the Arina role name and Arina Backup I just created. Resource tag key you could provide based on the tags you create. And this is if I want to do for prod, I want to back up for the prod. This is where you add the assignment. And if you want, you could also see the JSON. This is the backup policy that is created at the organization level. This is where you can preview the JSON, but what you need to do is, now this is just the policy. You also need to attach it to a particular target. In this case, I can come in and I can say I want to attach it to one of the other accounts that we have. So you could come here, you could attach it, and it will be shown in that particular account's backup section as well. And the tags that you want, you could give it here. It's a good practice to give tags, but I'll just kind of skip it for now. So this is the way you do it, the backup. But now you see the limitation that there is no specific information for RDS. And I'll show you what do I mean. I'm already in this account because this is my management account. This is the account that we have a lot of the resources created. So which is where I'll come here. Now in this account itself, to have the backup of RDS greater than 35 days, I need to click the backup plan. This is where you could add a new backup plan. and give RDS backup greater than or 90-day. Let me just give 90-day backup, 90-day retention. You could add the tags if you want. I'll just choose the same rule. And the backup vault, I'll just choose this one I just recently created. Daily is good. And this is where you need to have two sections created. First is you need to have the enable continuous backup. You will have to have continuous here. This is the plan. Let me give it the continuous. Provide the start time and you provide the life cycle. Continuous is most you could do it for 35 days. Same here. No difference. If you want to copy, you could do that. So no difference here. You could come in and create a plan. Now this is where you could choose the resource assignment name. I'll just give the RDS backup here. You could just leave the default role. I don't think we need to do it. And this is where you could choose specific resource types. In my case, I'll choose Aurora. You could choose RDS as well here. I hope you all know the difference between Aurora and RDS. If not, please drop in a comment and we'll be more than happy to make a video on this particular topic. So this is where you choose all databases. I just have one database for now, but ideally you would want to ensure you don't need to exclude it, but you could provide a tag as well. Say I like to give this way so that it doesn't conflict with the EBS and volume snapshots. So you could do it this way. You could choose prod here and assign resources. It's just giving a pop-up that these will be having additional cost. Now create a resource here. So I have the continuous backup. Now what I need to do is I need to make another rule here, which is not continuous. So let me show you that. Let me take the name here and I'll choose the word and this is the frequency. Now this is where I'm not going to select this option. This is important because if you select this option, again, you're only going to get 35 days. But now you see I get an option of months, years, forever. Now this is where I want to mention I want the backup. I said 90-day period. And this is where I can provide the option to make the backup. Now this is where the backup would be done. And this is now, if I want, I can come in, I'll be able to come in tomorrow, see that the job is running. But essentially, this is the tried and tested way to ensure that you will have to create a continuous backup first and then the regular backup. Some of you may have this question that does it incur additional cost if I do it continuous as well as regular? The answer is that it will not have an increase in cost because the way the AWS backup storage pricing works is it is based on the amount of storage space your backup data consumes, and the bill is based on the average storage space used throughout the month. From the AWS backup end, you will only be charged for storing the AWS backups. And if you disable the continuous automated snapshots, you will have the same snapshot cost as discussed previously as well. If I don't need to come in here and essentially disable this automated snapshot, this could still be here. This could be still retained and I don't need to come in and do it as part of this. So you could keep this. You could also have the backup. You wouldn't have any extra additional costs and the backups will still be incremental. And you will get out of the box system on how you could have the backup snapshot greater than 35 days. Otherwise, you will have to design a clumsy pattern, probably having a Lambda, copying these snapshots to S3, then restoring the snapshots. So none of that is required anymore. Okay, so just to show you how the backup will look like, a day has passed. And if I come here in the plan, I can see I have 2 plans here created. And these are the job IDs that are there. And if I come here, click, I can see the details. And this is where you see, this is the creation date, the completion date. And if I click on this one here, I would be able to further see the retention period. Now this is where you see it is 60 days after retention. And this was another plan I had created for 60 days. But for 90 days also, I would be able to see 90 days. Or if you want longer, you can see that as well. So hope this provides you good information on how to go about seeing it. Thank you.